everybody. I'm Hillary Atkin from the Atkin Report, and I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Peter Antoniou from America's Got Talent to this edition of Hillary's Happy Hour. Peter, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad, Hillary. How are you?
Really great, Peter. I must tell you that your two-part audition on AGT was just mind-blowing. I mean, you in essence made a dollhouse with rooms for every judge and then had Terry pick an item from one of the rooms. Can you walk us through how that worked?
So I'm sort of getting a vibe before the show of sort of what I think Terry's gonna go for, and it's as I was as surprised as the audience when we saw that I was right, because like it's never 100%, and sort of that I thought for America's Got Talent I want to push my skills much further, so it was a bit of a gamble, but sort of things in life often pay off when you're willing to gamble a little bit. So yeah, it was a fun journey, and getting to build the doll's house as well. I have a dear friend of mine who's a carpenter who sort of we worked together on building it and personalizing it. So I got to really get into the headspace of a lot of the judges so that I could understand them better and then hopefully make a connection when I saw them in person.
I want you to pick something from the house and make it go missing. Hide it somewhere, okay? So I'll look away so that you know I'm not looking, and just choose an object, anyone that you like, and hide it somewhere, and let me know as soon as you've done that. Okay. Done?
Yes.
Perfect. Something that I learned is actually we're all far more similar than we realise. People tend to lose their objects in mostly the same places, which made my job a lot easier. In fact, I actually recorded a voicemail message just to save myself time. In fact, to save time, I'll just play it for you. You're through to Peter. I'm unable to take your call right now, but if you're looking for a lost object, Tauruses, it's under the stairs. Libras, it's behind the sofa. And if you're a Leo called Terry Crews, the baseball bat's in your left pocket. And is that right? Did you choose the baseball bat? And is it in your left pocket?
Yeah, I did.
What in the world? And I realise that's a phone message, so the sceptical amongst you might be thinking, oh, he just has 1,000 voicemails saved. So I also went analog.
Those mini pictures of Simon, that was a great touch.
Oh, they're very cute, and his dogs as well in the little pictures, like absolutely gorgeous.
Well, let's move on to the second part. Sofia Vergara was very loath to give up her engagement ring to Simon at the very beginning of part 2 of your audition. How did that make you feel when the preamble to it was going on and you were up there on the stage?
Yeah, no, it was weird because like I sort of before the audition I felt like a bit nervous, and like obviously because of the year that we've just had, I'd not been on stage performing that much, so there was sort of the nerves. But the moment I hit the stage, I just felt utterly calm, and like the judges have such a good energy and they're so welcoming that it was nice to start performing. And like I completely understood Sofia's reticence to give up her engagement ring because it means so much, but I was hoping that sort of my aura showed her that it was going to be okay and we weren't going to sort of destroy it or find it in a lemon or something. It was just something that she could trust, and hopefully handing it to Simon as well, like as much of the scary aura that some people has, like hopefully they know that he's a big teddy bear really, and Sofia could trust him with that ring.
But you said you had some issues obtaining 1,000 ring boxes. So walk us through the process of setting up that very elaborate room and then going into reading Sofia's mind about that special element of her engagement that she was thinking of to enable you to find her actual ring.
Sofia?
Yes.
I want you to bring to mind the memory that is attached to that ring. So everything about it, the details that only you know, the clearer it is in your mind, the more likely it is that I'll be able to find your ring.
It's very clear.
Very clear in your mind.
Yes.
I'm going to set off. Okay, so just keep reliving that memory in your mind and just sort of guide me, like as if you as if you did know where it was. You're just sort of, you're magnetically drawn toward, no. All right, just keep.
Oh, I think I know where it is.
Have you got a psychic impression?
What?
Why?
Are you a psychic too now?
No.
Hey. Oh.
When you proposed, you weren't at home, were you? You were somewhere else. You were far away.
Yes.
Yes. And the plans had to change for your engagement.
Yes.
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 Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Sophia, how confident are you that I'm holding your ring?
Like 0.
0.
Yeah. There's no way you know that that's there.
Your ring with all the memories and emotions attached. You guided me to your lost ring. You didn't even know where it was. So let's see how we did. Your ring. And there's a detail.
I'm gonna throw up.
But there's a detail about your engagement that's sort of stuck in your mind that no one knows. Joe got down on one knee, and as he did, there was a rainbow. Is that correct? Yes? Yes, well, I am sort of down on my knee, Sophia, so you could put me out of my misery any time you like.
Yeah, so it was sort of like, I had to go to like a few jewelry shops and sort of wholesale buy 1,000 ring boxes. And I sort of, because I didn't have them delivered to my house, I had them sort of shipped straight to the theatre. So there was a lot of questions about like, you know, who's this person proposing to 1,000 people at the same time? So that was a fun discussion. And then, yeah, we sort of, the judges were watching the other acts, and I knew I had about 40 minutes in their dressing room to lay out all these ring boxes. So I sort of got in there with boxes and boxes of these and just ran around like an absolute mad thing, making sure that we had all 1,000 spread out, so there was a good selection and that we could see them all, and it was sort of a fair choice for Simon. And we managed to get all that done in the 40 minutes and get straight to the stage. So whilst I might look I definitely, watching back, I think I looked calmer than I felt inside after having had the cardio of running around, laying all the boxes out. And then, yeah, really fun to sort of get the judges into that room and have the reaction from them of seeing all of them, and getting Sophia to sort of really focus on that memory. Because I find that when I'm trying to read someone's mind, the more evocative the memory, the easier it is for me to pick up, because people can really put themselves back. And I'm sure that like you have memories, and the people watching at home have memories, that when you think back, like it's not just the picture that you see in your head, but you remember like the smells that were around and the exact temperature and what everyone was wearing, and it becomes so vivid. And the more vivid that memory is, the easier it is for me to pick up. And having sort of Sophia focus on that really helped, being able to pick up on those details that were sort of super special and she'd never shared with anyone. And it was really honored that she was happy that I shared it with everyone then, because, you know, previously that was something that was just hers. And it was nice for her to give me permission to sort of share that by thinking about it.
It really was incredibly moving for viewers to see that, and that revelation, and you know how vulnerable it made her. It really was quite something, and your talent is so unique. I know you call yourself a psychic comedian, but tell us how you got on the path to doing this.
I was always a super weird kid, and about age 9, I was in a supermarket on holiday in France, and I saw a tarot deck in the sort of aisle where they sell newspapers and magazines and stuff. And I didn't really know what it was, but I felt drawn to it. So I got one and then started learning how to read tarot. And my auntie, sort of a traditional old Greek lady, so she was always reading tea leaves and coffee grounds around us and sort of giving those sorts of readings. And then that combined with sort of my love of comic books and wishing I was, you know, one of the X-Men and that I could read minds and stuff. And all that sort of combined in that sort of childhood way of thinking like, oh, well, I'll just learn how to read minds. Like it must be possible. So I set off learning things from psychics and hypnotists and magicians and psychologists, and just seeing how they approached knowing what's in people's minds, and stole lots of bits from all of them and put it together in this way that I think it's sort of a combination of a learned skill and then just something that I often describe it to people. It's like learning a musical instrument. There are some people who just seem like to naturally have the gift and can pick up anything and play it. And there are some people who can spend 20 years learning guitar and can't manage a chord. And I think that I just was lucky enough to have the natural aptitude to being able to empathize and get inside people's minds that meant that it sort of built into a career.
Wow, that is quite the story. I would ask you if you can tell who's going to win America's Got Talent, but I'm not going to. But
Yeah,
think about
no spoilers. No spoilers.
yeah, we don't. Okay, but I wanted to ask you, what is it like for you as a pretty new resident of the United States as compared to living in the UK? And did that bond you a little bit to Simon?
Yeah, I think sort of the moment I came out and Simon heard the accent, I think there was a sort of a little bond shared there, which was nice. And it felt sort of reassuring walking out and hearing an accent that felt like home as well. And it was a big move because like I knew that moving to the US was going to mean starting my career all over again. And I didn't know how it was going to turn out. So it was a big roll of the dice. And then to go from not knowing and like arriving in January and not really knowing how it was going to turn out to being on the biggest entertainment show in the country and being seen by millions of people was such a whirlwind. And it was such an honor to be given that opportunity as well, because it's the best platform. Like, where else am I going to be able to show my skills to that many people when I'm so new in the country and I'm sort of making a new home for myself? So it was a really exciting opportunity to get to show what I can do and introduce myself to a whole new audience.
Well, culturally, does it change anything you do as far as your performances?
I think I've found so far American audiences are much more encouraging. I think that like I spent a long time in my career performing in sort of casinos in London and theaters, and there's a lot of sort of arms crossed, go on then, read my mind sort of and sort of angry approach to it. Whereas I've found with the American audience, they're much more encouraging and they're ready to play and get involved. So it's been a lot of fun, but the mind reading itself doesn't really change too much. Occasionally things get lost in translation. So, you know, I had someone in a show thinking of one source as a random object they could think of, and we don't have that in the UK, so it took me a bit longer to figure out what that was on about. So occasionally things get lost in translation, but it's never too bad.
Yeah, we don't really have crumpets here either, but
and there's lots of things I'm missing. Sort of a nice scone, biscuits being entirely different here was a big learning curve. So yeah, I'm still learning a lot of things.
Yeah, well, I've loved being in the UK myself and seeing the cultural differences. And you know, we do have a common language. We speak it a little bit differently, but anyway, I've loved being in your home country. Welcome to ours. You've been amazing. But how are you prepping for the rest of the season, Peter?
Yeah, I'm working on a few ideas as well, just sort of moving forward. So I'm always sort of dreaming up new ways of pushing my skills in different directions and fun things, because I think sometimes people can worry that like mind reading is a bit scary and, you know, oh, maybe he knows my secrets and stuff. And a lot of my approach to it is just trying to make it fun and interactive. So I've got some big ideas moving forward. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll have the opportunity to share some of those with you.
I will look forward to that, because again, your audition was just incredible and so unique, and it just, you know, really talking about being stuck in the mind. I'm never going to forget it, Peter. It was fantastic.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We are wrapping up Hillary's Happy Hour. I want to close it out with a toast to you, Peter, and to your continued success on AGT.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.